took it down. Climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hills till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can a child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life?
Alright, enough of that. Oh. What's up? Just checking in on you. April 22nd. I think this is Vidcast official number 4. Not a Rangers only one. Although they're the main story. They're the reason why I'm playing Landslide, because everything in my life is a landslide. Going nowhere fast. Let's see. Losing 5-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, one of the worst performances since 2 years ago versus the Penguins. Yeah, and then I know that series they came back and won. I know they came, beat the Capitals too, come back 3 games to 1. It's not happening this year. I mean, look, where do we want to start? The thing I realize is that you don't need the best goalie in the world to win a Stanley Cup. Look at the best cup goalie, the best goalie in the NHL that's won a cup since Brodeur. I mean, I'm not one I can think of as being near the top of the NHL. Maybe Jonathan Quick, but when you think of this era, who the best goalies are, it's probably Luongo, it's probably Ryan Miller, probably Henrik Lundqvist. No order, just that's my generation's best goaltenders besides Brodeur. Brodeur's the only one to win. I mean, Hank's not going to get a cup. He's not going to get a cup here. He's during the back 9 of his career. McDonough's not going to get a cup here. Kreider, Stepan, Stahl, Girardi, Hayes, Miller, none of these young guys, the whole core, they're screwed. It's just not happening. They had their window. They had their chance. It was 2014. It was 2015. In 2016, it's just a mediocre team that made the playoffs. A team that was up and down all year. And they just had no heart in that game. They had no desire to win. There was not even an offensive threat. Like I said, Game 3 was the one. Game 3 they had to win. They had to win Game 3. Kreider's goal or lack of goal because the offsides, take it away. That's the right call. Everyone agrees with that. Sure. The penalty on Mark Stahl was one of the worst calls I've ever seen because Carl Hagelin went down holding his stick, and they called a hooking on Mark Stahl. They of course, Penguins scoring that. And then, I mean, Chris Letang taking a baseball swing and knocking out Stallberg. Wow, Stallman. That's a Freudian slip. Another guy Rangers let go, should have been here still. Hitting Victor Stallberg's face, giving him stitches, knocking out 3 teeth. And the NHL reviews it and says it's a hockey play. His elbow was jammed against the boards. That just proves to you that the NHL wants, they want the Crosby Ovechkin matchup in the next round. That's what they want. I guess the Rangers, being from New York, having Henrik Lundqvist, the greatest looking man in sports of the world, in a series is not good enough marketing wise. Having an original 6 team with a huge fan base, that's not good enough for them. So here we are. They're losing. My life's in a landslide. Everything stinks. I mean, right now I had to shave my armpits completely. I'm 23, turning 24. I have bald armpits because of a rash from Red Zone Old Spice, whatever, deodorant. The one that smells like the old men. I had to shave it completely, just bald. Bald. There's a huge red rash. My skin just burned off. What else happened? You got loan companies calling, student loans. Had to pay them a chunk of money this morning. That's great. They don't stop hounding me. Yesterday, possibly the worst interview of all time. The interview, I'm not gonna say what place I went to. It's for a production job. they didn't want to hire me. They told me on the spot because I have aspirations to become on air and I want looking to move. Might go to LA. That's my goal with the NFL Network. Fingers crossed. Now I just jinxed that though, so there goes that job. But and they said they want to hire people who want to be full-time producers, stay producers forever, be in their little bubble and never leave, never have any other career goals, just make 50K, drive a small Japanese car and live in an attached house and be okay with that life, and that's just not for me. So the guy, I've never seen an interview where I'm the one that had to ask the questions. It was like in Step Brothers where they're gonna like flip it on its head. And the guy was like, "Do you have any questions?" I was like, "No. I thought you were going to ask me the questions. I'm not hiring you." He left within 5 minutes, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll send somewhere to walk you out." I was in there for a half hour, alone, in a room. There's people walking by the office, creeping their head and looking at me, and I'm just sitting there like, So I walked out without, I didn't feel like waiting. I walked out after a half hour. They probably think there's a crazy guest on the loose wandering the halls of this office building studio. So then of course I come home and watch the Rangers get spanked. So that's where I'm at. I mean, unbelievable. I just for a team that I care so much about, and they perform this way, and next year who knows what's going to happen. There's so many things that have to change with the cap space, and who they're going to bring back. Yandel's going to walk. I mean, look, they'll have a window because they'll still be in it. They'll make the playoffs because they have Henrik Lundqvist. They have a decent core, but I mean, I think their cup aspirations are gone. The worst part is, New York sports in general is terrible. What do I have to look forward to? The Knicks, Phil Jackson, Triangle Seminar. No one shows up. 3 players showed up. The players that nobody wants on the team shows up. Jose Calderon, guys like that. And this is after we don't hire Tom Thibodeau, who goes to the Timberwolves. We don't hire Scott Brooks, who goes to the Washington Wizards. We're going to be between David Blatt, who got kicked out of town by LeBron. So when LeBron's a free agent, inevitably this offseason, he won't come here. He's probably going to call up Carmelo and say, get the heck out of there. Don't be coached by David Blatt. Or it's Kurt Rambis, his fellow deadhead, and Triangle enthusiast. So the Triangle training camp, mini camp, they have 2 years after Phil Jackson comes here. So after the first 2 years, he didn't decide to do it, but now he's doing it. Carmelo Anthony doesn't show up. He's an isolation guy. Why is he going to show up? Why is your best player going to show up? So that team's in shambles. They're going nowhere fast. The Giants, Jerry Reese goes and says this draft is not any more important than any other year's draft in years past. Well, that's why you're getting fired. That's why Tom Coughlin thinks you should have been fired. Look at your draft history. Your best player blew his hand off. No, I'll give you Odell Beckham. Besides that, your next best player tried to blow his hand off. I mean, your draft history is terrible. I could have literally put those names in a hat and picked out better players for the Giants than you could have. Or he's going to say that he's going to go against the owner and say it's not any more important. So that's where the Giants' mindset's at. I mean, the Yankees. What are they, like 1-7 the past 8 games? Your team full of 40-year-olds can't hit? That's shocking. Look at the best players in the game. They're my age. And the front office won't do anything about it. They won't do crap about it because they want them to be awful. So they could just get rid of them, ship them off, contracts off the books, and bring up the young guys. And I don't have a problem with that, but you got to get used to stinking for 2 years. So that's a useless thing. They're 10% of the season, not watching any more baseball. It's not even May yet. So that's always good. Sports, I mean, I wish I didn't even care. I wish I liked Yu-Gi-Oh or something and just was into anime or something. Magic the Gathering. Just didn't even care about sports. I would not be stressed. I would have probably a better paying job. I would not even invest my time in this stuff. I mean, even the Jets. Nick Mangold's getting kicked out of the MSG by security, yelling at Sidney Crosby. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick with them. They can't get him signed. Their mentality is trade. They might have the best interior defensive lineman in the whole NFL. And their thought process is, let's trade him away so we could re-sign a mid-30-year-old Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had best season in Jets history as a passer, probably. Still didn't make the playoffs. And this guy's a career mediocre quarterback. He could easily have a pretty bad season next year, and you lost Muhammad Wilkerson. It's just like cutting your nose off to spite your face. How do these people get hired to run organizations, to run teams, billion-dollar franchises? This is like what it must be like living in Cleveland, being a Cleveland Browns fan. Just constant misery. Nothing good. Nothing good. I don't know. I think there's one funny story I want to talk about. Was it the the Ludacris story? So one on a funny note. Well, Ludacris performed. He rapped at a Georgia Bulldog spring game. Had like 90,000 crazy toothless SEC fans there. Who probably did not want Ludacris there because they probably wanted Kid Rock or something. And he performed in, like most performers have the list of what they want in their trailer, whenever they come to a stadium, to your venue. And his is hilarious, especially because he played for 15 minutes. So they paid him 65 grand to play for 15 minutes. I mean, there's a generation of people who are growing up today knowing Ludacris as the actor, the Fast and Furious actor, not as Ludacris the rapper. I'm not a rap guy, and I love the Fast and Furious movies, so I kind of side with them. So I would never pay 65 grand to hear Ludacris rap. I'd rather pay him 65 grand to hear me tell stories about Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and The Rock. But anyway, so here we go. Just read over a couple of the things he had. His dinner menu is pretty funny because he asked for chicken breast grilled, pasta with whole wheat, and then you have steamed brown rice, mixed vegetables, mashed potatoes, baked sweet potatoes, fruit trays, fruit salad, regular salad, and then on the bottom he has wings like teriyaki lemon pepper, drumsticks, chicken wings. That reeks of a guy who wants to be sort of healthy, like he thinks in his mind he's healthy, like, oh, I'm having mixed vegetables and grilled chicken and a fruit plate, so I could eat wings and pasta, and then people are like, oh no, pasta's not bad. It's the whole wheat pasta. Like, all right, it has 3/4 amount of carbs instead of the full amount. Like that, it's just hilarious. Because if you eat in one good thing, it cancels out the other. That's the ludicrous mindset. What else we got here? His room. So there's more food in his room alone because he has to, that 15-minute concert is going to knock him out. So we got a loaf of bread, probably, it's whole grains, again, being healthy. You got organic peanut butter, organic jelly, and then assorted candy. So again, when you eat the whole grain bread, you could have a Snickers, it's fine. Box of green tea. Fruit roll-ups, that's a good one. And then 6 Hanes large white t-shirts, because he's going to sweat every 3 minutes or so while he's performing, and he's going to need a new t-shirt. And then, of course, a rechargeable toothbrush. So he's going to pull the Allen Iverson, brush his teeth once, and leave the toothbrush there forever. That's just great. And then there's a ton more stuff here. I'll just pick out a couple of the really funny ones. A box of Magnum condoms. 2 gardenia scent candles. 1 bottle of Eucerin lotion for his dry skin. And then we have 2 bottles of Belvedere vodka, 2 bottles of Conjure cognac, which is his brand, so he needs them to find 2 bottles of his own cognac. Patron Silver, so 2 bottles of tequila. A lot of batteries. 2 lighters, wonder what that's for. Bottle of red wine, Francis Coppola or Cabernet. So the guy who writes the Godfather. If I could afford it, the wine, it's not good wine. You're Ludacris. You could do better than that. White wine, bottle of Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Grigio. That's a little suspect, Ludacris. You're better than white wine. Fiji water, of course, because the real expensive. You can't just drink Poland Spring like the rest of us, or Brita filter. Coconut water, and then just a bunch of hair shampoo, ironing board, whatever. So sounds like Ludacris is having himself a pretty fun party. Got a lot of bottles of vodka. Got a bunch of candles. 5 towels going on there for all. It's just. I mean, I guess he's trying to think all the co-eds who come over. It's the condoms for him and his buddies, his crew. You need the candles because you have a trailer full of dudes. So that's he's gonna be spending more time in the trailer than he will be performing at Georgia. So I just thought that was just a bizarre. List. The amount of things he needed for. How long do you camp out for? You're performing for 15 minutes. You could literally show up and get in a cab and leave. Take your check, go home. Why do you need to stay around? I don't know. Anyway, Chris Bridges, good job. That's really all I got for you. I just figured I should put a video out because it's the end of the week. I'm probably out of commission once the Rangers lose, probably for life. So that's tomorrow. Sorry for the poor lighting in this one. I closed my blinds, it's kind of gray out, so I look terrible, I look disgusting. I look like a person who can't figure out what you're doing with your beard, like the scruff. It's like, oh, you've the unemployed scruff. My hair stinks. I look bloated, puffy, wrinkled shirt. Sorry you had to watch this. If you want to go watch more or listen to more, you know what to do. Find the iTunes page, SoundCloud page, Dish and Switching Podcast, obviously. Twitter, at DNS_podcast. My Twitter is at Edward L. Murphy, dishandswitching.com. We have all these videos up there. Links to the YouTube page as well. So you can go find that, watch those, listen to them. Or don't. I don't even care. I don't even care at this point. Just do what you want. I don't know. Whatever. I'll see you guys later.